All right, I'm going to show you guys how to import a terrain from World Creator. This is a 6 by 6 kilometer terrain, so 36 kilometers squared, into World Creator. Well, from World Creator into Unreal Engine 4. I'm using Unreal Engine 4 21. I think that's the latest release as of the time of this video. And then I'm also going to show you how to do the landscape materials. Because as you can see, the materials here, as I zoom out, you can see minimal tiling. On the grass, you can almost see no tiling. It's using a screen fade effect and mixing in macro and well, basically macro and micro, a larger and smaller texture, but then with a macro variant, macro texture variant. So as you see here, as I'm zooming in, you can look at the rocks and the grass and you'll see them change. As I'm zooming in, that's the large texture, and as I zoom right in, you can see that they're swapped over to the smaller texture, smaller size. And I'll show you how to create this as well. So if I just run here and just check the performance, I've created where's this level? I've created my old composition. This is the entire. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles, each of one. It's 1009 in resolution when I brought it in. That's the size I prefer. It gives a good performance. So I've moved it into its own layer with a streaming distance of 500,000. So everything's always streamed in, which is what I would want, because I'm going to be using LOD on all of and culling on all of the objects in the world. So as you can see here, my frame rate is running 120 frames per second, which is what I want. So it means I'm not getting a bad performance. And if I switch over to wireframe, you can see what's actually happening is Unreal is tessellating the terrain. So the further terrain, you can actually see this in the editor as well. So the further terrain is getting tessellated. Pressing the wrong buttons here. There we go. So the further terrain there, you see as I'm getting closer, the geometry changes as it's getting tessellated. And there it's getting super fine, but now unfortunately you can see through there. So let's look at the ground here as I'm zooming out. Come on. You can see the ground there. That's the highest, the lowest level of tessellation. As I'm moving in, it's getting tessellated. I think that's the right term, tessellation. And that's why we're getting such good performance. So I'm not even going to set up level of detail for the terrain, because I'm really happy with what I've got here. The other thing that I like, if you look, this is unlit, and this is this is lit using no normal maps, and this is lit using the normal maps and shadows and things like that. So you can see it makes quite a difference. I've got the normal maps on the lower, the smaller texture here, and then there's no normal map on the higher textures in the back, because that's also going to give you better performance. And as you can see, it looks pretty good. You can't really notice the tiling that much. On the rock texture, it does look a little bit like it could need some help, but you can tweak these values, and I'll show you how to do that as well. This is the material instance that I've created. All of these were created from scratch. The terrain, all of these textures, the textures themselves I got from either textures.com or some game textures, something like that, to free for commercial use. And then also we're going to recreate these from scratch as well. I might have to just pause the video and just see how I did it again, but that's going to be the idea. We're going to start with a new project. So I'm going to start in World Creator, and then we're going to take it from there. So let's quickly do this. We start up World Creator. All right. And I can show you that project that I had there, but I prefer if we start from scratch. Okay, it's probably going to slow things down, and maybe the video also suffered a little bit, but this is the map as it got imported from World Creator, or exported from World Creator to Unreal Engine. And you can see the resolution here is 6054 by 6054, and I am using World Creator 2 Professional. This is release candidate 14 as of the 9th of September 2018. I think that they've created. So you know, doing this in World Creator isn't that difficult, but I'm gonna just do it as well. I've forgotten a little bit all of the stuff. I haven't been using it that. I used it a lot a couple of months ago, but basically then I set up a couple of textures. These are just the standard World Creator textures, not the same ones I'm using in Unreal Engine. But then set the setting the slope range of the rock and the sand. I'm defaulting grass with no slope selection, so everything is by default covered in by grass, and then the sand would be the next real layer, and that's gonna anything with a slope range between 10 and 50 becomes sandy. So you get this nice effect. But I also set it to cavity concave. Concave meaning it goes in, not bulging out. So anything where it looks like it's kind of going into the terrain will get sandy. So it looks like there's a collection of sand, which is exactly what I wanted. And then rock is just pure slope selection based on anything between 65 and 90 degrees. And we can try and recreate that as well. And these all just got exported using a tiled export with specific widths. So I chose 1009 for a very specific reason. If I go to Unreal Engines, if we can quickly find it, for landscape size, caps lock is on. Landscape technical guide. Okay, so we'd be looking at this. Let's see. So I'd be looking at, there's a calculation table here, and I'd be going for this. This is what I try. I'm sorry, the least amount of components. So I'm trying to hit this 63 by 63. Yeah, 63 by 63. I think that's the one I tried. One section per component. Oh, sorry. No. I'll actually try and hit this one because this would be the least amount of components. That's only 64. I need to double check that that's the one you want the least amount of components. It's going to give you each component is a draw call, right? That's what they said in the Unreal Engine live stream. I didn't go and look at the code to see exactly how they did it. So I want the best performance. 256 doesn't seem that bad though for the entire terrain. Well, this is for a particular tile, sorry, not for the entire terrain. This is for one tile, so you're going to multiply this by 6 to get your total for what you're doing, right? So this is I went for the 1009 by 1009 size, and then I just multiplied that by 6 to get to this number here, the 6054. Anyway, this is all very boring. Here's let's start fresh, and hopefully it's going to work. I'm going to have to start a new Unreal Engine project as well. So let me take a quick break and then we'll be back.